Welcome back. Today we're covering the ReZero if routes. Hope you all are excited for the next score. Without wasting any time, let's get started. There are a lot of if routes in ReZero, and a lot of them contain spoilers. As I showed earlier, it's surprisingly easy to spoil yourself on content that the anime hasn't adapted yet. So, I decided to do the research myself and went through the 9 major if routes to figure out where they diverge, how spoiler heavy they are, and whether anime only viewers can safely read them. So, let's start with Deceiving If, also known as Azamakif. This one is completely in spoiler territory. It branches off during Arc 7, which means it's rather beyond where the anime currently is. Even just searching for this route can easily expose you to major spoilers, putting it in the major spoiler row. So I would strongly recommend avoiding it if you're already caught up with the anime. Next up we have Devoting If, or Sasaguru If. This one is extremely far ahead of the anime, as it diverges at the very end of Arc 9. Because of how far into the story this takes place, it contains heavy spoilers for future events that only anime viewers haven't reached yet. For that reason, this one goes straight into the avoid at all costs category. If you're only following the anime, I would leave this route alone for now. Next up we have Aganao If, also known as Revenge If. This route explores what happens if Subaru chooses to honor Ram's final wish to live. Instead of relying on return by death, Subaru decides to move forward with a single lifetime. He abandons the idea of resetting and chooses to fight for Ram's wish, no matter the cost. After years of grief and determination, Subaru takes a completely different path. He spends decades training and hunting down Battle Keys, eventually succeeding in defeating him. However, this journey comes with a heavy price. By the end of his life, Subaru is completely exhausted, but he finally finds peace when he reunites with Ram beyond his journey. Now, because this if route branches from Arc 3, it is one of the earlier routes and doesn't spoil the later parts of the story. If you finished Season 1, this is a safe route to explore. Moving on, we have Gluttony If. This route explores what happens when Subaru loses his memories and takes a completely different path in his attempt to recover who he used to be. He ends up choosing to kill everybody in the Watchtower, creating a divergent route, essentially making it spoiler-free for anime onlys. That finished Core 1 of Season 4. However, it covers events including the Pleiades Watchtower and story developments that the anime may have not completely adapted yet. It's okay to go ahead, but be careful. That being said, compared to some of the previous examples, this one is quite spoiler free. Doesn't go ahead as far as the other routes that branch from much later arcs. So while it's not the most dangerous, I would still recommend anime onlys to be careful with it. Next up we have Pride If. This route diverges very early in the story, during Season 1, when Subaru chooses not to call for Reinhardt's help when he is confronted by the thugs. At first, this might seem like a small change. I mean, what does calling somebody's help do? But it completely changes Subaru's path. Instead of relying on others, his pride pushes him down a much darker road. This version of Subaru ends up working alongside Elsa, the assassin, and begins manipulating events around him to achieve his goals. His actions eventually lead him to become known as the Purge King, killing hundreds of people, even thousands. Despite branching from Season 1, this route has a much darker direction than the main story. However, because the divergence happens so early, it's one of the more accessible if routes for someone who has finished the first season. Moving on, we have Greed If. This route explores what happens if Subaru accepts Ekidina's offer during Season 2. It's one of the most infamous if routes in the series, especially because of the extreme amount of suffering Subaru goes through, with the route becoming known for the idea of Subaru dying an unimaginable number of times. often summarized as 100 million deaths. However, the most interesting part of Greed isn't just the suffering, it's what happens when Subaru tries to perfectly optimize his life. By attempting to control every outcome and save everyone, he slowly becomes consumed by greed. He keeps asking for more, keeps trying to improve things, but he never reaches the happiness he desires. The more he gains, the more he realizes he is still unsatisfied. Since this route branches from season 2, it is safe for anyone who has finished the anime so far. Unlike many other if routes, you can explore this one without worrying about future arc spoilers. Now, we have the harem if. Unlike the other if routes, this one is more of a joke than a serious alternate timeline. Even Tape, the author of ReZero, treated it more like a fun concept rather than a proper story route, and it was even later removed. Because of that, there aren't really any spoiler concerns here. It's not meant to be a serious canon or a major alternate timeline. It's a simply fun what if scenario. So if you're interested in seeing a more comedic side of ReZero, feel free to check it out. Next, we have Wrath If. This route diverges during season 1 when Subaru refuses to continue relying on return by death in the same way. From there, he takes a completely different path and creates his own criminal organization. This version of Subaru becomes known as the Purge King, and his actions just show how far he has fallen. He even leaves decisions on the flip of a coin, killing people, their lives, on a flip of a coin. Wrath If is a very dark story. Unlike some of the later If routes, it doesn't spoil future arcs. If you've watched the anime, you can safely explore this route. Finally, we have Sloth If. This one is probably one of the simplest If routes to understand. It diverges in season 1, where Subaru accepts Rem's offer to run away with her. Unlike many of the other If routes, this one focuses more on a slice of life Subaru, a life that he could have lived. It follows his peaceful life with Rem, but underneath that happiness, there is still guilt. I won't spoil the details, but this route is a very emotional what-if story, and one of the most well-known route among the fans. And those are the major ReZero if routes. There are a few more side stories, but many of them are less significant or require much deeper digging. I hope you enjoyed the video. Also, this was recorded with a different mic, so hopefully the audio quality was still good. Have a good day.